In this lesson, we're going to look at how MasterCAM uses the Setup Tool feature to manage parametric tools. We will also look at the Draw Tool feature. I have the Lathe Tools Setup dialog open here. I'm going to close out of here to show you how I got here, and then we'll investigate it some more. I currently have the sample file from this lesson open, and I have saved it out including an IP for in process and part of the name. So I'm going to go to Lathe Tool Manager, and I want to create a tool that we can work with. So I'm going to click on this one here, Control C, Control V. We could also do a right click. It tells me I already have one. Do I want to make another one? Yes, I do. I'm going to go right in here and I'm going to change the name of it because these two tools are exactly the same right now with the exception of this copy, slot 1. I'm going to delete that, go to the end, and I'm going to put in test. So we'll say OK. So now I have two of the exact same tools that are named differently. So I'm going to right click on this tool and I'm going to say Edit Tool. Now in the upper right hand corner I have three options. I can save to a library, so it'll save this individual tool to any library I choose. I can draw the tool, which we'll do in a few minutes, and I have the Setup Tool button. So I'm going to select this, and you can see the parameters that this tool has for setup. They're fairly self-explanatory. We'll go through and look at them. We have a mounting position. So it's either vertical or horizontal, and then we can also reverse it. You can see we have an upper and a lower turret that we can choose from. If we have a tool that's at an angle, we can set that angle here. We have a default active spindle. MasterCAM wants to know which spindle we're working on. And we also have spindle rotation, clockwise and counterclockwise. The important thing to note here is the direction of the arrow. We also have a home position for the tool. So this home position we can select when we're creating the operation. There are a couple places that we can select home position when creating an operation, and this is one of them for the tool. I'm going to close out of this dialog and draw the tool to see what it looks like. So you can see that it gives me a 2D profile of the tool. You can see that I'm on the upper turret from orientation standpoint. I am vertical. I am insert down. I can tell that because my outline of my insert is orange. If it was yellow, it would be insert up. That will become more clear as we continue to make tooling. You can see the collision extents here with these little round circles that we have. You can also see that it's pointing towards the left spindle. So this is Draw Tool. Next I'll go back to Setup Tool, and I want to change this from the top turret to the bottom turret, and let's see what happens. So I want you to watch the mounting position here and anything else that might change here. So we'll select bottom. And you see that now my tool is insert up. I'll put it back. You can't see the insert in this case. It just shows a solid dark back here. And when I go to the bottom turret, it's moving that tool 180 degrees. We'll look at it in a minute. And nothing else has changed to this point. So I'll green check out. I'll draw the tool. And you can see that my tool is now on the lower turret, still pointing to the left spindle, but I am now insert up, and my outline for my insert is yellow. So I'll go back into setup and let's put it on the right spindle and see what happens. So we'll leave it on the bottom turret and put it on the right spindle. So again, you see it flips 180 degrees. Now 180 degrees is relative to the axis it's flipped about. So let's see what that looks like. So we'll say OK, and again we're insert down. I can see because of the blue back side of the tool. So let's draw this, And you can see now that my insert is down. I'm pointing towards my right spindle. I'm vertical. So let's take a look at what the spindle rotation looks like for this. We haven't looked at that yet. So I'll go back into Setup Tool, and we can see that we are currently set to CCW, or counterclockwise. If we consider how our tool was set up, we can see that our spindle is turning in a direction that the material is spinning into the cutting edge and not rotating in the wrong direction. So let's see what happens if we change spindle rotation. So we're on the bottom turret, we're on the right spindle, and we're going to change our spindle rotation. Now you'll notice that it flips the tool again. And this is a pretty good representation of what you're going to see in the machine. So I'll green check out, and I'll draw the tool. Now this is a right hand tool, and it's being used on the right spindle in this case. So you can see that our insert is now yellow. So because this is a right hand tool, the spindle is turning in the correct direction, but you can see where we might have some difficulty engaging this tool on the right spindle. If our part stuck out enough, maybe, but generally speaking, this is not a favorable orientation for this tool. So you can see how the parameters associated with the tool properly set it up for how it's being used in the machine. And you can also see how these different parameters affect how the tool is oriented inside of MasterCAM. So with the tool on the bottom right spindle, I'm going to go back to counterclockwise because that makes more sense for us here. And I'm going to green check out. And you can see now that MasterCAM orients the tool in the library how the tool would be mounted on the machine. So that's a little bit about Setup Tool.